I surrender to the Almighty, my mind, speech and body. Vanakkam. We are currently reading the Tamil book called Thirukkural. This book talks about the aram for the conduct of human life. Aram is a term that refers to an order in nature. Our ancestors say that there is some kind of order in the working of nature around us, whether we take the life of bees or birds or the planetary motion, there is some order in their working. Similarly, there is also some order in which humans too can conduct their lives, thereby achieving not only a smooth flow of life but also be happy and even reach a state of bliss. That order is called as aram. Now this book discusses two arams, the Ilaram and the Thuravaram. What are they? You see, in the early stages of human life, it is natural for us to look for attachments. We are initially attached to our parents, grandparents, our friends, our pets, etc. And then there comes a stage where we seek a partner, and then we may want to get married and have children and raise a family. So the book shows us how to live this phase of our life well and then move to the next phase. So this phase, which is a phase of a householder, is called as a grihastham, and the aram for this phase of the life is called as the Ilaram. So what is the goal of Ilaram? What will I get by living the life of a householder or a grihasthan? Thirukkural says that the goal of marriage is twofold. First, the goal of Ilaram in this birth is to achieve fame. By living the life of a householder in the right way, we would get fame in this birth, says Thiruvalluvar. And second, the Ilaram would give us a chance to be born as a deva in the next birth. It's interesting, isn't it? Actually, we don't know what a deva is. We don't use these words in our daily lives. But there are plenty of references to this term deva throughout the Tamil literature. In my understanding, deva is a form of birth where only happy experiences can be had. Okay, so we live a fantastic married life as prescribed by Thirukkural, and then we reach fame, and then what? What's after that? Should we just drop and die? Thirukkural says that once humans have lived such a successful life of a householder and reached fame, they naturally tend to let go of attachments in life and seek a higher purpose. For some of us, this can happen in this birth, and for some of us, it could take a few more lifetimes. But Thiruvalluvar says that when we have lived the Ilaram in a good way, fame becomes inevitable, and after a while even that could get boring, and the search for a higher purpose would become natural for us. The book guides us for that part of our life as well, and the aram for that stage of our life is called as a Thuravaram. Thuravaram guides us on how to find our larger purpose of existence by way of letting go of our attachments. So it looks like the Tamils have identified the goal of marriage as finding a higher purpose of our existence. While there are several ways to look for higher purpose in life, like prayer, God, meditation, the different kinds of meditation, yoga and all that, the ancient Tamils understood that marriage is also one of the ways to get to that stage. In fact, only when a person has fully enjoyed the joys of attachments of life can she or he get bored of it all and will have the heart to let go. Our elders say that first you fall in love with life, love your partner, love your children deeply, and just immerse and enjoy life fully. And then when you feel fulfilled and have a sense of satisfaction and achievement, and then you will automatically get bored of it all and you will let go and search for something bigger. So Ilaram shows the right way to immerse in attachments, and Thuravaram shows the right way to let go of it all. So I feel that this journey of Ilaram and Thuravaram is very beautiful because this path seems to take something that comes natural to us humans, all of our emotions and attachments and joys and tears and our entire emotional baggage, and allow it to flow in a certain way that would make us taste all the flavors of life, take all of it in, be happy, satisfied, and then be fed up of it all and let go in moving towards the higher purpose. It's like taking a huge gulp of life and savoring every bit of it and then letting it go and moving on. And in this journey, the Uyir or the intelligence in us matures in the path of love. So yeah, I think this could be a worthwhile way to spend our time on this planet. And that's the overview of the book. So how is the book structured? The book is divided into 3 big sections called Pal, and then we have smaller sections called Iyal and even smaller sections called Adhigarams. Each Adhigaram has 10 Kurals or couplets. The commentaries are given by a scholar called Parimal Alagar, and he has given an introduction to the book. That section is called as the Urai Payiram, and we have finished reading it. So I have given a quick recap of what we have covered so far. So where are we standing now? We have now entered the first Pal called the Arathu Pal. In Arathu Pal, we have entered the first Iyal called as the Payiraviyal, and in Payiraviyal we have entered the first chapter called as a Kadavul Vaazhthu. Kadavul Vaazhthu means in praise of God, and this chapter has 10 Kurals or couplets, and we have started with the first Kural. So as the title of the chapter says, this chapter is going to give us some information about God, and the first Kural itself introduces us to the idea of God. So the first Kural goes like this: Agara Mudala Eluthellam Adi Bhagavan Mudatre Ulagu. The literal translation of this Kural is: just as how A is the first sound of all the letters of all the alphabets of all languages, so is God the first in the world. So here Valluvar made a comparison to help us understand the nature of God. He said that just as the letter A, which is the first letter of the Tamil alphabet, God is the first. But this Kural raised some questions. Is A really the first alphabet of all the letters of all the languages, or did Thiruvallur just make a mistake? So to understand this Kural, we went and saw how the Tamil language was created as a means of communication. In the last video, we saw how the Tamil language started as simple sounds and expanded to words and sentences and lengthy essays, and as the intelligence matured, the language began to shrink and finally landed in silence. The Tamils understood that even the eyes are powerful tools for communication. Today we will see something called as Thathuvam or principle. Thathuvam. Thathuvam is a Tamil word. It literally means principle. More specifically, we will try to understand a little bit about the Vaaku Thathuvam. Vaaku Thathuvam and how it relates to the sound A in the Tamil language. But first of all, what is a Thathuvam? Thathuvam literally means a principle. The Tamils say that what we see as the world or the creation around us is nothing but an interaction of principles. The 3 gunas that I had talked about in an earlier video are also principles. I had mentioned that the Tamils brought down many complicated things to few fundamental building blocks. For example, if we take music, even though there are different ragas or tunes, the notes are only 7. Similarly, though we have different types of cuisines, the tastes are only 6. The gunas are only 3. So now like that, they saw the world also as being made of a few fundamental building blocks, and they called those fundamental building blocks as Thathuvam. The world is seen as an interaction of Thathuvam. For example, water is a principle. The tendency of water is to equalize the temperature of substances over which it flows. For instance, if I have a box of hot food and I keep it under water, the temperature of the box and the water will be equalized. It is a quality of water to do this. So anything that equalizes the heat or the temperature tends to possess the quality of water. Even in our interpersonal relationships, when we get angry and there is a heated argument, kind words would help to bring down the level of heat in the argument, isn't it? So kindness, kind words, love, these are all referred to as neermai. Neermai in Tamil. Neermai means the quality of water. Similarly, fire is also a principle. Its tendency is to make everything burn and reduce to ashes. Whatever you throw into the fire, it burns everything and makes it into ash. So our ancestors said that the world around us can be seen as an interaction of principles. They say that understanding of the principles will help us understand our life. Also, they say that this human body itself is an interaction of the same principles that we see around us. And Vaaku, which I will be explaining today, is also one such principle. Now, the Tamil language was also born from the basic principles of life, and I had explained in an earlier video how the letters of this language, that is the Uyir எழுத்துக்கள் and the மெய் எழுத்துக்கள், are constructed in tune with the principles behind the interaction of Uyir and body in our human system. So today we will see about an important principle in this human body called as the Vaaku or the Vaaku Thathuvam. In colloquial Tamil language, Vaaku loosely means speech. If I say his Vaaku is good or clean, it means he is a man true to his words. But that's not what we are referring to here. I found this Vaaku Thathuvam to be very interesting because, as you will see, it has many new concepts that we have never heard of before. And to say that this Vaaku principle is a part of this human system is something new and unheard of. But many Tamil poets and scholars like avvaiyar and Thirukkural have written about this principle called Vaaku in their works. Anyway, now coming to the Vaaku principle, what is this Vaaku and how does this relate to the sound A? Now we have to go a little bit into the principles of Hinduism. Hinduism believes in multiple births. Our life is not restricted to one birth and one death. We have a continuous storyline that spans many lifetimes. Now let us think about a few basic questions about life. Why are we here in this birth? What are we supposed to do in our time in this earth? From the perspective of Hinduism, it is said that we are born to experience pleasure and pain and to get rid of the karma baggage. What is karma? Again, I have explained this concept before in detail, but briefly we can say that the principle of karma is what goes around comes around. If I am currently facing a happy and a pleasant situation, it is the echo of my actions in some previous birth. All of us have to experience the results of our action. There is no escape from that. Okay, so what is the big use of understanding karma? How is it going to be helpful to us? When someone, let's say a trusted friend, does something bad to us, we undergo suffering and we may want to take revenge or do something bad to hurt them. But if we can somehow bring ourselves to the understanding and recollect that we are facing suffering in this birth because of some of our bad actions in the past, then there is a possibility that we won't be triggered to react so violently. An understanding of karma could help us to let go of our anger, stay away from such a friend, and help us to move on with life and channel our energy in a positive direction. Now let us keep this information on one side. Another concept that Hinduism propagates is this human body by itself is a non-living entity. It's just a corpse. It becomes alive only when life or an intelligence enters this body. And that intelligent entity is called as Uyir. So our identity goes beyond this body. When I say I am Mohana, I am referring to this body and the intelligence inside the body called as the Uyir. So then, who is experiencing this life? Is it the body or the Uyir? Now suppose if I hit you, can I say that my hand hit you? No, it is my Uyir or the intelligence inside of me that decided to hit and moved my hand. And that intelligence inside me is called as Uyir. Another name for Uyir is Atma or Anma. So this body is only an instrument used by the Atma. And when we see the world around us, the eyes are not seeing. It's only the Atma or the Uyir that is seeing. How can I say this? See, when we are sleeping, even if the eyes are open, we still don't see. The ears are present, but we still don't hear anything. So then this can only mean that there is something else within us that is necessary to use the eyes and the ears to do the seeing and the hearing and so on. So then the eyes, ears, they are only instruments which are being used by an intelligent entity to get the life experiences. I hope we understand that we are something beyond the body. Now I said that we are here in this birth to live out our karma baggage, and in order to live our lives, we are given 4 things. This body, the instruments attached to the body, a place for us to be born and be functional, and the different kinds of experiences that we are supposed to face. In Tamil, these 4 are called as Thanu, Karana, Bhuvana, Bogham. and I have spoken about these in a previous video titled Karma and Maya. Now these, that is the Thanu, Karana, Bhuvana, Bogham, are made out of a fine substance called Maya. At first these words may seem to be a little difficult, but since they have a good rhythm, I think we can easily catch them. Thanu, Karana, Bhuvana, Bogham. Thanu, Karana, Bhuvana, Bogham. It can make a nice tongue twister. Thanu, Karana, Bhuvana, Bogham. Thanu just means body. Karanam means the instruments attached to the body, which help us to interact with the world, basically our sense organs and the mind. Bhuvanam is a physical location where we are born to experience our karma, and the bogham are the actual experiences that we face in that location. Now, all of our experiences happen in the body, isn't it? If someone beats me or touches me, all of this is happening as sensations in the body. But the body doesn't have any intelligence. Then how does the non-intelligent entity, which is the body, convey the experiences that it faces in the world to the Uyir inside it? Where exactly does this exchange of information take place? This is an important question. For example, when I taste a sweet candy, I enjoy the taste. The candy and the tongue don't have intelligence. It is a Uyir that is inside the body that is understanding the sweet taste and is enjoying the candy. How did the intelligent Uyir understand this? How do the experiences of the body get translated to an experience of the Uyir? Both are different, isn't it? We need some kind of glue to stick the body and the Uyir together. And that glue is something called as the Vaaku. Vaaku is a principle and it works in the body. Where is this principle working in the body? It is said that the Vaaku Thathuvam is in the form of an energy and it is placed in the mooladharam of our body. Obviously, where is mooladharam in our body? If you cut the body from the top to bottom into two equal halves, right and left, the place where the body separates completely into two halves is the mooladhara. So it must be in the perineum region. In this place called mooladhara, all of our energy is stored. The Tamil word for energy is Shakti. The Vaaku Shakti is present in the mooladharam. Here it is said that our speech or sound, the sound that I make when I speak, is present in the form of light. When the sound energy is concentrated and intense or condensed, it becomes light energy. So this light energy or the Vaaku Shakti is said to be present in the Mooladhara. What does it do? It helps to attach the Uyir to the body. The Vaaku energy has to attach itself to something and it is said that it is attached to the body. Now I understand that this much itself is going beyond the limits of our science and our understanding of the human body. But there's more. Our ancestors go a step further and they have classified this Vaaku into different types. Having originated in the Mooladharam, the sound in the form of light travels upwards to finally reach the mouth, where it gets the normal sound form as we know it. And along the way, the transition from the light to sound is gradually made and the Vaaku gets different names as it reaches different locations in the body. The Vaaku in the form of light in the Mooladharam is called as the Sukumai Vaaku. Sukumai Vaaku. Sukuma means subtle. Parai is also a term used to refer to the Sukumai Vaaku. It is an expression of Shakti, the feminine energy of Shiva. As the Vaaku travels upwards from the Mooladharam, it reaches our stomach area around the belly button, and here the Vaaku is called as the Paisandhi Vaaku. Here the light is converted to sound, but the letters are still not formed. It is in the form of a mixed sound. The Vaaku in the Paisandhi is in the form of sounds, but there are no separation of letters. Then the Vaaku rises and comes to the chest area, and when it comes to the chest area, it is called as the Mathimai Vaaku. Here the sound undergoes transformation to be expressed as syllables or aksharas in the chest. The separation of letters and the words takes place only in the chest area. For example, when you close your mouth and say a word, any word, try Amma, you will feel the word being said only in the chest area, not below that, because it is in the chest area that the letters are getting separated. And when the Vaaku rises some more and comes to the throat area, here it is called as a Sukuma vaigari Vaaku. Sukuma vaigari Vaaku. And when it comes out through the mouth as the sound that we can hear each other, it is called as a Thoola vaigari Vaaku. Thoola vaigari Vaaku. Now, Hindu priests tend to chant mantras in their prayer rituals, and sometimes they would chant some powerful mantras without actually saying it aloud, because as the mantras are recited further down, it is said to be more powerful. Don't think that we can lower it only to the chest area. You can lower your sound still to the point of Mooladhara. It is possible to recite a mantra without actually making any sound, right from Mooladhara. Such a mantra is called as the Ajapa mantra. Ajapa. There is a prayer called Vinayagar agaval written by poet avvaiyar. It is a prayer to God Ganesha, and avvaiyar uses this term Ajapa in that poem. She says, Kundali adanil koodiya Ajapai, Vindelu mandiram velipada uraithu, and it goes on. So this is what the Ajapa means. It means that we are reciting the mantra from the Mooladhara, where the sound itself originates. Now, we are not very familiar with these things, but the jnanis or the wise people, they have understood these and they have practiced them, and they have found that it is possible to say the mantras from the Mooladhara, and by lowering the mantra up to the Mooladhara, the power of the mantra becomes multifold. So anyway, that's the basic understanding about Vaaku. There's more, but we'll have to stop here. Now the Vaaku principle, as I said, it makes the body and the Uyir to stick to each other. And they say that that's how the experiences of the body becomes the experiences of the Uyir. Now in the initial years, when we were babies, we didn't speak as soon as we were born. The Vaaku was still in the Mooladhara, and then as we slowly grew older and we learned to talk, and our Vaaku rose from the Mooladhara to the mouth. But then as we got older, we went through many life experiences, good and bad, spanning several lifetimes, and then we began to understand that we are stuck in this process of life, and it is said that with that realization, the Vaaku begins to travel downwards back to the Mooladhara. The Vaaku slowly descends and eventually reaches Mooladhara, and that is a sign of wisdom, or what we call as jnanam. That is a sign of maturity, which is why you see many jnanis or the wise people, they don't talk much. They talk only when needed, because they have undergone many experiences and have had many understandings, and they realize that thinking and talking all is useless. Until the time the Uyir is released from its attachment to the body, they spend the time in silence. This kind of silence is a sign of wisdom. In Tamil, silence is called as maunam. So we can say that someone who talked a lot in our life and then became silent is a jnani. So why did nature design us like this? First we were designed to not speak, and then we spoke a lot, and then we were silenced. Why this exercise? And how is this related to the sound A in the Tamil language? We will see that in our next session. I shall end here. Thank you all for listening. Nandri Vanakkam.